been in the financial services industry for the better part of the last 25 years, going back to being a teller in college. More recently, I guess, in being an advisor, probably since 1999. So, and then one of the other things that I've gained a very significant amount of experience was I helped found and manage 2 different investment firms for two different local banks. It gave me a lot of insight into the way that the banking industry, which I already knew some, but how the banking industry itself works from the CEO end all the way down through the teller end, because we worked hand in hand with them. And so, as I said, I managed and advised clients, but also managed other advisors in that capacity. Probably one of the biggest discussions that I end up having initially with clients kind of sets me apart from what I would say with the others, is I make sure to let clients know right up front that when they sit down and work with me, I'm not going to tell them what they want to hear. I feel that it is my responsibility to tell them what they need to hear. And sometimes that's going to go completely opposite of the direction they thought that they even wanted to go in. But it is my responsibility to tell them, and sometimes I have to give them bad news. But I also will make sure to let them know there were no mistakes prior to today, and going forward, now that we're armed with the information, we'll just make sure that we make the right decisions going forward. I feel that I actually have a purpose, which is very important to me. I have a major impact on my clients' lives. And what's really important for me is we're not in our firm. We're not in the selling business or the product business. We're really in the relationship business. In fact, when we first meet people, we use kind of an analogy of going on a date. That if people have been referred to us or we've met them at some sort of a seminar, we count that as our blind date, and then we decide from there if we want to have other dates, and then ultimately end up being in a relationship together. And so that's what's the most important, and where the having an impact comes, that we are there throughout a client's lives. I have had clients now that have graduated from college, that they started out, they were first born, and then they I've watched them grow up, and then ultimately have helped put them through college. And then unfortunately I've had other clients who have passed away, and I've been there during those times as well. And to be able to see the impact of making sure that clients have planned properly, not only for today, but going forward for tomorrow, and the impact that they can have on their family for generations to come, means everything to me. The analogy of dating is very appropriate to the way I approach the process of working with a client. We initially sit down and we have a conversation, and that first conversation is a very lengthy one, usually anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on the level of questions and so forth that go on. And it's by no means a monologue. It's definitely a dialogue and a true conversation between the client, the prospective client, and myself on what they have going on in their life, as well as finding out more about the way I work and the way our firm works and the way that we assist clients. And so, like I said, that very first meeting is one of the longest meetings there is. It is to get to know the client. Because one thing I will not do is I will not change a client's accounts, have them move assets over to our firm, or do anything on the very first meeting, because I don't know them. I don't know them well enough to make that decision. And then what we'll do is after that very first one, if they've decided that they'd like to work with us, then we'll have a second meeting. And at that meeting, usually what I'll do is I'll go back and take all the information that I've gathered at the very first meeting, and after having our kind of group meeting, if you will, with the rest of our firm, one of the things that we will do is we will do a consulting amongst ourselves, where each week we'll get together on the phone regardless of which office the other guys happen to be at the time. And we will go over different cases, different client situations, and we'll kind of brainstorm amongst ourselves how to plan out that client situation. Then we'll go back for the second meeting. I'll have a discussion with the client, and we'll talk about here's some of the things that we saw when in looking at their situation. You, I guess, call that the discovery of problems meeting. Then after we have done that, then we usually will follow up with a third meeting where then we'll have a discussion of solutions, and the client will decide which direction they want to go. Usually when I work with someone, I usually try to come to that third meeting of solutions with a couple of different options available for them. In some cases there is only one option, but most of the time we have the ability to find a few different options, and we kind of help guide them along the way. We typically only meet with people that are approaching retirement, maybe 5 years approaching retirement, and then those that are in retirement. That's really our forte. My expertise is in retirement income planning, as opposed to building up a client's assets. It's what to do the next step. So the common theme for us is that sort of situation. Now, what I'm seeing a lot of when clients are coming, or prospective clients are coming in the door, is they're taking on far more risk than they need to. Far more risk than I think that they should. They've spent their entire lives doing what they thought was right, paying off their home, building up their assets, all of the catchphrases, asset allocation, diversification, risk tolerance, all of those things. And they're working with an advisor or a broker usually, but 9 out of 10 times they will come in the door and they are taking on far more risk than they ever should have. The other theme that we typically end up seeing is clients being concerned about outliving their money, and making sure that in this new generations that we're moving into, where people are living longer, and you know, the life expectancy age is rapidly moving towards age 100 and above. Clients are all of a sudden realizing that they need to do some serious planning, that the planning that they thought where their money only needed to last 10 or 15 years, they need to look at 30 years or beyond. So that's also a common theme. Make sure to position your assets in a safe way. We're very much very much about safe money here, very conservative by nature, and believe that you can lower your risk while keeping a very strong return, and in some instances increasing your return. I'm Roger Hudspeth. Best way to contact us is 757-226-9440, or you can email me at rhudspeth@dominv.com.